Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is How to App on iOS, and my name is Jade. Welcome aboard. It's Thursday morning here in Australia, in Melbourne. I know it's still... What did I say, Friday? Oh, I said, who knows? It's Thursday, so it's probably hump day for the rest of you people there and the rest of the world, because we're in the future here in Australia. We dictate what happens. And look at my chat today. My chat is doing something absolutely bizarre today. I don't know what it is. I'm going to have to look into that. It is just constantly typing, hello, hello. It is really entertaining stuff. So let's keep it over here to the main screen. Oh, and my iPad's disappeared. It must be the morning for it. I tell you what, Pete just had a show, and he had absolute trouble going on over there, and now I'm sitting here and my device has decided not to connect. So let's try that again. Let's see if we can get it back. Wow, there is something in the water today. There is something odd going on the land of YouTube. And there we go, the iPad's back. Yay! So I hope everybody's doing well today. This is the last day of my little drum week that we've been doing here for the last, this is the fourth day. And today what we are going to be doing is looking at, I didn't prepare this earlier as usual. We're going to be looking at an app called Auria Pro. There it is. So it's worth $80 here in Australia, this particular app. I'm not doing an in-depth look at this at all. I'm just using this as a tool to take all the stuff that we've done in the last 3 previous shows and once again try and get a different drum sound from the stock standard sound that we're so used to in GarageBand. To step outside the comfort zone, use this other tool that is, you know, for many people probably they think way out of their reach as an audio solution, as an audio recording solution. But you know, using it in this kind of way is a really good way to like dip your toe into the water of such an app, because this is far more complex, obviously, than something like GarageBand. And you know, I can't necessarily say that it's a better app because it has more functionality. The best app is the one that actually always works for you. I prefer Auria Pro because I grew up recording music in recording studios. So I'm used to a more of a Pro Tools look, a full-featured desk, having all the knobs and everything to touch. Oh, man, as I said that, I could just feel how wrong it was. So it's time for a bit of tea ASMR. What I will do is say hello to people. So, hello, SM Borthwick, Scott, how you going? Benedict Stewart, Tom, how are you? I hope you're all doing nice today. We are also going to be drawing the winners of the apps that I'm giving away, and that's 3 copies of DigiSticks and 1 copy of EG Pulse. So you've got 4 chances to win. Also, I'll just let you know, since we've been doing Drum Week this week, I reached out to a couple of developers over the last couple of days, and because, you know, I'm always trying to find different ways to get this happening, to make drums more accessible in GarageBand, get a different kind of sound. So as you can see on my iPad here, I have 2 new apps. I have Drum Session and Drum Perfect Pro. So maybe a couple of weeks down the road, we'll do another Drum Week Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, and we'll look at another 3 different apps that you can get even more drum sounds out of GarageBand. So it's something to look forward to. All right, so let's get into this. Let's have a look where we were. We were at GarageBand. Now, what I've done last night, just to keep you in the loop here, I was you may remember this screen here. All of this was done in one project. So we had 3 separate sets of drums. So we've got the GarageBand drums, we've got the EG Pulse drums, and we've got the Digistix drums. But during last night, just making sure my sound is set on here, cool. Last night I decided I wanted to split these up into separate projects. The reason being, I may be on an iPad Pro with a ton of gig, like it's a 500 gig iPad Pro. And I mean, they only have 6 gig of RAM. Having all of these AuV plugins from 2 different AuV plugins is really heavy intensive on the iPad. So doing any mix downs of these tracks, it crashes the AuV plugin setting, which you probably would have seen before. So what I went and did, I split these up. Now I've done a lot of preparation in advance, so you don't have to sit through some of the time-consuming hibbity-jibbity stuff. And what we're going to start with today is the GarageBand drums. So let's take a look at these. Let's unmute. Oh, we've got everything muted. There we go. So mute that one. Here's where we were. Cool. So what I'm going to do is, now that we've split up these tracks, I can mute that top one too, because that's all of these drums. So we only want these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tracks. So we've got a kick, a snare, we've got some hats, we've got a ride, we've got some toms, and we've got 2 sets of cymbals. Now, what we are going to do is mix down these individual tracks into individual waveforms, and we're going to import them over into Auria Pro. Now, as I said, I've gone ahead and already done this for several of these tracks. I've done them for all of them except for the kick and the snare, and there is a reason for that. So let's go ahead and begin the process, because look, it is quite laboring to do this, but I'm sure you will agree after you see the result, it's worth your time. And hey, time is of the essence. Let's go. So we're going to solo the kicks here. Let's make sure they are the kicks. Cool. Right. So what you need to do also when you're doing this is make sure over here in your settings, make sure everything is flat. Get rid of all your compression, all your treble. Make sure everything's even at 0. Okay, you don't want everything's centered. The levels don't really matter, because it just doesn't matter. You're in GarageBand. No matter what level you set it at, when you do a mix down, GarageBand in its infinite wisdom decides to do its own processing and its own little fancy mastering stuff. So the level is what GarageBand decides, unfortunately. It's not a bad thing, but that's why I say make sure all of the effects and levels are as 0 as possible. So the interference of GarageBand adding their frilly stuff on the outside is less. So what we're going to do is, I've got that track selected as a solo. Going to get out of there, hit select. Now we want to choose that song. We want to share it. Choose a song, uncompressed wave, hit share, and we open in. And it's going to do a nice exporting. Let's hope it doesn't crash. I mean, after G'day Pete, I see you just creeping in there. So I've had some fun today. I'll show you what fun I'm having here. Let's have a look. Look at my chat. It's just repeating everything over and over. It's just constantly going. So that's why the chat's not showing up today, folks. I'm just keeping it off. I don't know what's going on there. The gremlins are definitely in YouTube today, or OBS. So here we are. I can save this to, God, what's this app called? Oh man, it is one of those days. So as you can see, here is the file. I'm going to instantly rename this file because it's a kick. So we're going to call it GarageBand kick. And we'll go back to GarageBand. Now what we're going to do is hit done, go back into the project, unsolo this kick drum. La la la. And now we want to solo the snare and do the same process again. Select and song. We're choosing an uncompressed WAV because we want it at the highest quality. And we're exporting the song now. Holy hell. I don't know what is in the air today, but I was up like at the beginning of Pete's show, making sure everything was ready. And as soon as like 1 minute before the show, my chat just started going mental, repeating what I said half an hour ago, like 100 times. I'm like, what is going on? Okay, so we're copying this into Audio Share, and there are my snare hits. Now I'm going to rename this as well to GarageBand Snare. Now, remembering when you save a file in GarageBand, it saves it as a stereo track. Okay. Now, for the best effect of what I'm going to do, it's best to have this in a mono track. So what I'm going to do for both of these is click the kick first, hit tools up in the top corner. I'm going to convert this to a mono wave file. Then I'm going to do the same for the snare. Convert and save. And I'll explain this why I'm doing this soon. Now we can now close out of Audio Share, just so we have as much RAM as possible available. I'm also going to close out of GarageBand, and now I'm going to open up Auria Pro. So as I said, Auria Pro costs about 80 bucks Australian. So with the Australian dollar at the moment, that's like $1 or anywhere else in the world. Obviously not that cheap, but our dollar's pretty bad at the moment. Now I'm going to bring up my toolbar here, as you can see, and I'm going to grab on the Files app and drag it on top of here and then let go. And that gives us the Files app over the screen here, so we can drag files in as we please. Now with I'll just flick that off for a second. So as you can see on this main screen here, here's all your volume controls and levels. It looks complicated. It can be complicated if you let it be complicated. Like anything, don't be intimidated by it, because like GarageBand, you don't have to have this many tracks when you start out. You can choose 2 tracks. I just normally start with 24. It's just my preferred old person kind of thing. Then along the top here, you've got these 3 sections. So this is the first one, which is the mixing desk. Then you've got your wave files, and you've got a keyboard. So we're just using the first 2 for today. And as you can see, I've already imported in here the guitar, the hats, all the china, and the toms. So if I just hit play on it how it is, okay, now we're going to bring back the files up. There we go. And where are we? Sort by date. So here are my 2 files up here. So we've got a kick and a snare. I'm going to drag the kick in first. So you just grab it, slide it over, and let go. Now that was the kick. Now I'll grab the snare, drag it over, and let go. It's as easy as that. Just hold down, get them all in place. We can get rid of you now. And now if we hit play, I've got the volume down. Yeah, there is a china in here, and what I will do now, so while I'm thinking of it, I'm just going to select all the WAVs here, so I can set a loop. 1, 2, and drag. There we go. So there's my loop set up. So this will just keep looping. Now, this is just something I do for all my songs. Clearly, I've set up a lot of templates within Auria Pro. So I have instant effects and stuff and settings that I always go to. So I'm going to do that for all of them now. Now on this screen here, this is the effects panel that you get with every channel. I mean, it's really in depth. There's a lot of stuff in here. You can add plugins over here. You can go through the list. I mean, it's incredible. All your AuV3 plugins, all your inter-app audio plugins, they all show up in here. I mean, as you can see, I've got a fair few of them. It's quite a mess to look for them. I won't go too much into this in depth because I'm going to do a whole week on this app in the coming month, I do believe. So let's just choose my settings, which I have, and they have very stupid names. Vocal Mix AU. I'm just going through all of these tracks and adding the same one. It's just a start preset that I use for everything. Vocal Mix New. Did I say AU? Wow. Don't have my glasses on today. Where are we? Guitar. Almost got them done. And, whoops, chose the wrong one. There we go. So let's bring all these volumes down, and you'll notice everything should be a lot peppier. Let's hit play. So there you go. Let me pull those toms down a bit. Now this is where it gets fun. I'll tell you, I'll show you a really interesting thing that will make you super jealous that GarageBand doesn't have. If you click up here in the top right hand corner, excuse me, look at that. Time format, minutes and seconds, samples, bars and beats. Minutes and seconds, are you drooling? It just makes me so happy to be able to do that. So another little cool function here, you see down the bottom, auto return. So every time I hit stop, it goes back to 0 for me, or the last place that I had it set, which is really cool. So if I just put the marker there and hit play, now when I stop, it'll go straight back there. That's really cool for doing drop-ins and such. So what we're going to focus on right now, the main two parts of the drum kit are the toms and kicks. So I'm just going to solo the kick, and we're just going to keep it on a loop for a while. And I'm going to go into FX here to my FX screen. I'm going to add a plugin. The plugin I'm going to add is something that you can buy within Auria Pro. It's a program that you can buy on PC as well and Mac called Drumagog 5. As you can see here, and I'm choosing the mono Drumagog 5. And look what it's done to my kick. It's turned my kick into a snare. What is this voodoo devil magic that we are talking here? How has it taken a WAV file and turned it into a snare? That is ridiculous. So let's have a look further into that. You've got a whole selection of drums here you can just use to paste over these sounds. So I'm going to hit the bass drums, and look at that. Pete! Fuck. Oh. It is that day, I tell you what. I'm not even running like massive processors. How bad is that? Unless there's been an update, let's hope that's not the case. Because I was using it yesterday, so that can't be the case. Sometimes due to Apple updates, well, it's working here. It's working there. Maybe it's got something to do. Look at that. Goodness me. That's concerning, isn't it? So this could be an issue with Auria Pro since the last Apple update. We'll try again. Man, this is one of those days where you just want to go back to bed. I'm telling you. Let's deselect. Let's try using the snare and see what we get there. It could be a sample that I have in there that's causing the problem. We'll have a look at the snare and we'll add Drumagog. We'll hit play. I know why that is. I know I've worked out the problem now. So that makes sense now. That makes sense. So I'm going to hit snares. Okay, so the problem was there. I imported those samples last week. And they were from a new set of patches that I got that I wasn't sure about. And now I'm totally not sure about them because they've got a problem with them. You gotta love live streaming. So now that we're on the snare here, let's get out of here. Try and get some normalcy happening. And get this on loop again. Cool. Now you can hear already that snare's changed. Devil magic, I tell you. And you've got a whole list of snares here. These are some of my favorites that I have. So let's choose a few and hear what they do. Pretty cool. Let's try this snare. Wow, that's pretty poppy. So let's listen to the difference with Drumagog over the top. So there's your GarageBand sample. So once again, this is what I'm trying to show you, that even though just using those basic GarageBand drummers, by doing stuff like this, you can get even more sounds out of it. I mean, it's endless, the possibilities just from the original God, I'm spitting over my words today. GarageBand drummer. So we've got a snare now. Let's go and have a look at the kick drum now that we know how to get that working. We'll hit play again, and it sounds like a snare. We want to go to kicks. Right. Whoa. That's deep. So I'm going to go down the bottom. I want to give it like a real clicky Pantera kind of kick. Nah. Oh, that's pretty brutal. Yeah, let's go with that. That's a real metal. So within Drumagog, and again, when I do the Auria Pro full week of this, I'll really go into all of this in depth. I mean, within these samples as well too, you can see here, whoops, let's go back. See how this one's just being hit? You can actually, these are all variations, and you can randomize these as well. So there's different articulations. This is a really complex plugin within Auria Pro. So Auria Pro is already complex enough, but to have this level of complexity as well is just sick in my view. This is why I finish off anything that I make in GarageBand. I normally export it into here to do final mixes anyway, because I'll be honest, I just think the sound quality is so much better. And when you do a mix down, you don't get GarageBand messing with the finished product with their fairy dust that they sprinkle over the top. So let's have a listen and hear what it all sounds like together. Not forgetting also, I've got all of these additional buttons here that I can manipulate as well. So you've got all your EQ, you've got compression, all this stuff to really bring it out, bring it alive. Let's put that all back into the mix. Okay, now that we've done that, you can see pretty much what we're doing there. I'm going to do a quick mix. I'm just going to quickly send this file, the kick, and well, I don't really need to do, but let's do it anyway. Let's do a mix down of just the kick, demo kick. We're going to send this out as a WAV. We want it to go to audio share. We don't want to import it as a new track. 24-bit entire song. Okay. And that's put it back into audio share for us. Nice. I could have messed with the levels a lot better there too. You can see that's quite low, but who's perfect? Oh, and before I do get out of this, let's have a look at something that will really make you salivate that GarageBand doesn't have. Oh, look at that. Look at it. Draw. I'll move it around and tease you with it. It's the master meter. Too good. Anyway, what am I doing? Being stupid. All right, so what I do there, I did kicks there. Let's do a mix of the snare. God, I'm an idiot. So snare, all good. We want to go to audio share. Cool. There they are, both of those tracks. Now we'll just close Auria for a second. We'll open GarageBand again. We'll go back to these drums. We'll bring across here. So here are these two files. We'll add them back in. So we've got the snare. Oops, what am I doing? We want a new track. I hope I did that right. Clean. Cool. Duplicate. Let's hope this works. Oh, it's probably not going to work. Give up today. Let's do it this way. Import files. From, where are we going? From audio share. There we are. So there's the snare. And let's put snare. There we go. There's the snare. And let's import the other one. Kick. Okay. So now we have two WAV files here. We can select all the rest of the kit, bar these two, and the guitar. And there you go. So that's that in a nutshell. Let's just quickly go, we'll close out a GarageBand. And we'll quickly go over to Auria one last time and I'll wrap this up. As you can see, I've done the same thing with the other two. I've added the Digisticks drums. So I've just put all of them in here. Oops, go back to the start. And once again, I can mess with these drums even further and do the same thing. Now, not only do I have to use just snares and kicks, you can do it with hi-hats, toms, any part on the drum kit. You can turn a snare hit into a rim shot. You can virtually change every sound into whatever you want. So it gives you so many options. And I did the same thing with the, oops, where are we? Cancel. The other project was EG Pulse, so I did the same with this. So there you go. There is another way using Auria Pro to take what we've done in the last few days to even manipulate your drums further. So if you, I mean, look, let's cut to the chase. The whole purpose of this week, apart from the usual of just making mistakes is cool because you learn from them, is don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to try things that you might think are crazy, to use other apps that really aren't meant to do that. Like, you know, I'm sure the Rim who creates Auria is going, what the hell are you doing? But for somebody who's so just used to something like GarageBand and not ready to dip their toe fully, the whole foot into the world of Auria or Cubasis or something like that, this is a good way to introduce yourself into that kind of new environment. So that's basically all I'm trying to do. And I know drums are one of those things that everybody seems to struggle with. There's always questions about drums because, you know, creating good, realistic drums on digital spaces, especially on iPad, it's incredibly hard to do. And GarageBand is one of the ones who've nailed it really well with the interface for creating them. So that's why I still actually use GarageBand a lot for drums and then do things like this outside in other apps because GarageBand is just really easy to make the drums. But as I said in the beginning on the first show this week, the more you use the GarageBand drummer for your songs and hear other people doing it, you will start to hear the similarities and it will get on your goat. It does me. And look, who knows, it may not other people, but I think it will over time. So let's end this show with maybe what everybody's waiting for. So we had a contest this week. Let's hope this works. Let's see if the technology is... Look at that. The technology is working for a change. So if you don't know what this is, if you've never used this before, this is splitting two apps on your screen. So I've got my Notes open and Safari. This is a really cool feature. And I thought this would be the best way to showcase this right now. Then how I'm going to draw the winners of this prize. As you can see, everybody's listed on one side. So I've got 10 people who wrote banger in the chat. And I've got a random number generator here. So drum roll. Let's say this one is for a copy of Digisticks. And we're going to hit generate because I want to make sure it's all above board. And we have number 8. So Benedict Stewart is the first winner of a copy of... Did I say Digisticks? So let's put a Digisticks next to Benedict's name. Sweet. Okay, so this will be for another copy of Digisticks. Let's rock it. Number 5 is Simon Dunmore. God, I feel like Pete will probably get this. I feel like I'm at a chook lotto.
And the winner of the Lucky Meat raffle is Terry from Taronga.
If you're not Australian, you probably think I'm a dickhead right now. All right, so let's give away EG Pulse now. So this will go to... Now, if the same number comes up, I'll have to do it again, obviously. So number 10. So EG Pulse goes to Mobile Metal. Oops, I'm typing his name twice. And let's give away the last one now. So this is for another copy of Digisticks. Did we generate the same number? Number 6, Jeff Brush. Okay, there we go. So it's the last one, Digisticks. So congratulations, everyone there. Don't fret if you've missed out. I've got a heap of giveaways coming up over the coming weeks. I've been in contact with quite a few app developers. They've been really cool and got on board. So I'll be giving away quite a few things. So that's really cool. So congratulations, everybody. Now, what I will do is on this video, I'll put my email address. It's pretty easy. It's jade@dreadcircus.com. And for all these these 4 people if you just want to give me a message, but I'll put a comment at the top. I'll pin it to the top of this video's comments for all those people with my email address, so you can email me and I can give you the code so you can start drumming. So here we are. This is the end of drum week for this week. Tomorrow we have an interview. Now, it's not going to be the person I thought it would be, but I'm not going to tell you who it is, so it's going to be a surprise. And I will let you know too. Also, I don't know if I said this yesterday because my brain is quite fried, and I haven't had enough tea. But every 4th Friday, instead of having an interview, I'm going to be doing a live performance, playing guitar or keyboard or whatever, and playing a whole bunch of songs, instead of doing an interview. I want to keep it broken up a little bit, so we have like 3 interviews, and then on the 4th Friday of every month, I'll do a live performance. So next week, we've got, I'll let you know, coming up, I'm going to do something. The first show of the week next week, which is Sunday for most people around the rest of the world, will be an episode on screen recording. And we're going to go through all the ways you can screen record your music, dump it into something like LumaFusion or iMovie. And then on, I think it's Tuesday in Australia? I can't remember if it's Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it's Tuesday. So Apple are doing their keynote, their WWDC, and I'm sure Pete's probably going to be doing it as well. But I'll be staying up watching it here in Australia, and I'm going to be doing a rant on that instead of apps for that day, because I'm sure there's going to be some really interesting stuff, and I'm going to put it out there right now so it's on record. I reckon they're going to announce Logic for iPad Pro, and it's going to be $19.95, one-off payment, no subscription. Why $19.95? Because they want to keep it lower than every other DAW that's on the market, every other Pro DAW, because that's just what Apple do. They undercut. GarageBand is free. It could even be, I reckon, $10. Between $10 and $20. That's just what I reckon. And who knows, maybe I've spoken to a few people and that's why I'm so adamant about it. Maybe I'm going to be wrong. But if I'm wrong, who gives a shit? Anyway, whatever. So, all right. So it's going to be a bit of a different week next week. So we'll do WDC and some sporadic stuff. I think I'm going to do some stuff on vocals. The week after, looking at doing some guitar stuff. Then we're going to start looking at DAWs. And then back to some drums. That's kind of what's happening ahead, just so you know. So thank you everybody once again for hanging out this week. I hope this little drum week has helped you out, got you inspired to make some music, do some drums, step outside of your comfort zone. Congratulations to the winners, Simon Dunmore, Jeff Brush, Benedict Stewart, and Mobile Metal. And thank you all once again for all the excellent comments. Oh, and by the way, I just want to finish on, thank you so much, guys. Reached 500 subscribers at the end of the show yesterday. Right as the show ended, I got an email that said 500 subscribers. So that's really awesome. Since I started doing this show, I think I've gained like 60 subscribers in 2 weeks. That's really cool. So thank you all so very much for all your support. And have a great day. Have a great evening. Have a great afternoon wherever you are. And I will see you tomorrow with a very, very special guest. And it should be, if all goes to plan, a shitload of fun and laughter. Take it easy, folks. See you later. Bye-bye.